So as I transitioned from graduate studies on the south side of Chicago to Capitol Hill in DC, I discovered that part of my passion was going to be how do I best help black men and boys in terms of their health and well-being. And so because Capitol Hill is a space and place that is conducive for a lot of grassroots activism and advocacy. This was a perfect place for me to cultivate my passions as it relates to social justice and black men and boys. And so, for example, I was on a panel some time ago focused on men's health. And because of my background, having done some research on the health and well-being of black men and boys, looking at race, gender, health, equity, and policy, I was able to put language to some of the unique challenges of what it means to live in spaces that are not necessarily welcome for black men and boys. And so part of my unique contribution is kind of looking at, from a health standpoint, kind of what that looks like. And so that was in essence kind of what I kind of garnered from my transition from graduate studies to Capitol Hill and kind of serving as a keynote and as a panelist for different types of men's health work. I also had a particular interest in connecting with historically black colleges and universities. And, for example, my dad, he used to teach at an HBCU, and I remember walking on that college campus several years ago, and that impression, really, I think, birthed in me a passion for ensuring that I give back to my people. And along similar lines, in college I joined a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, and that was a way in which I could really give back in terms of service, also find a brotherhood that could help me to grow both personally and professionally, and also was able to find mentors and advisors who looked like me that could speak to where I was and could also speak to where I was trying to go. And so because my fraternity has a particular focus on community service, I enjoy that aspect, and I also enjoy the servant leadership and really getting to know brothers in authentic ways, pretty much across the world. We have chapters across the country and around the world, and so in essence, I can go to any city and find an alpha man there. And my experiences, even up to this point, have helped me to get to where I am in terms of the support from the Brotherhood. And I literally wouldn't be where I am today without their support. And so that's part of what I try to give back and how I try to pay it forward for brothers coming up behind me.